The latest update just dropped and it's shaking things up. If you're running the same old guns, you might be falling behind. So forget what you thought you knew. This is the real top 10 best guns you need to be using right now in ranked. We'll count them down, starting with an essential tool before hitting the main list, and stick around because the number one spot, even after the nerfs, might require a different approach than you expect. Let's get into it. First up, for once, an honorable mention. The Man-O-War with thermite rounds. Look, if you play respawn a lot, you absolutely need this in the loadout, either as a secondary main or your only one, purely for shooting down score streaks. It even got a small buff to its direct bullet damage recently, making it slightly better against flak jacket or dauntless users trying to tank streaks. But let me be clear, don't rely on this for primary gunfights. You'll often get cross-killed before the burn finishes them off. For a pure killing power, you'll need the guns coming up next. But first, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Once Human. It finally dropped on mobile April 23rd, and it might be hard to believe, but this mobile version will replicate the PC gameplay, meaning it's a proper AAA mobile game. Free to play, cross-platform with PC, and no pay to win. Gameplay-wise, the gunplay feels sharp and tactical. You've got PvP and PvE against some crazy zombies and monsters. But where it gets deep for people like us who need to have the best Gunsmith builds is the weapon system. You're just not unlocking guns. You hunt down blueprints to craft specific weapons from scratch. Then you can really dial them in by finding and attaching different mods and accessories to tweak performance. It's a proper crafting and customization grind. Plus, you get those unique deviation abilities for extra tactical options. And remember, it's not just the shooter. It wraps that core combat in a massive open world survival experience. Honestly, you might regret missing out now that it's live, especially if you're craving for a grind that feels rewarding. If you use my link in the description, you'll get the mobile launch exclusive rewards, just about over 1,000 premium free rewards that'll fast track your progress. Make sure you grab that boost, and maybe I'll see you in the game. Now, kicking off the official list at number 10, we have our two familiar DMRs, the SKS and Type 63. These are your long-range precision tools. The SKS offers incredible stability and that consistent two-shot potential, especially at longer ranges. The Type 63, on the other hand, brings more mobility, particularly faster ADS, making it feel much more flexible. Interestingly, while they have similar consistency up close, the Type 63 actually holds its first damage range longer, but beyond that, the Type 63's consistency drops off more sharply. Of course, both can still one-tap to the head at any range, making them gods against head glitches. The big downside? You know it. Flinch is brutal on both. You absolutely need toughness with these, no question. So, the choice depends. Do you prioritize raw stability or flexibility? Keep that question in mind as we look at some full auto options later that might be easier to handle. Next up, at number 9, we've got two main 4-shot kill assault rifles, the LK24 and the KN44. Similar to the DMRs we just saw, these offer two distinct profiles. The LK24 is all about stability. It's incredibly easy to control, making hitting those 4-shot kills out to 40 meters almost effortless. But the trade-off is mobility. It's slow across the board. That's the price for laser-like accuracy. Now, if that sounds too slow for you, the KN44 offers a compelling alternative. It has very similar range stats, but sacrifices some of that god tier stability for much better mobility, especially sprint speed and ADS time. The strafe is still a bit sluggish compared to true flex ARs though. If you find the top tier ARs a bit too demanding, especially after the recent nerfs we'll discuss later, one of these could be your go-to reliable beam. Coming in at number 8 is the MG42. Right now, this is hands down the best LMG in the game. It's viable in pretty much any mode and fits various playstyles. Whether you're spraying through walls, playing a flex role, or even trying to be somewhat aggressive, this LMG can keep up, which is rare. Why is it so good? Over 1,000 RPM makes it incredibly forgiving, the recoil is virtually non-existent, the bullet spread is minimal, and the iron sight and flinch are manageable. Aiming is basically all you need to worry about. Even its mobility is decent for an LMG. But there's a crucial detail people forget. After about 38 meters, the damage drops off significantly. Even though its accuracy makes you want to challenge long ranges, the low damage might get you killed before you secure the kill. Remember that weakness. Sliding into number 7 is the XM4, the go-to aggressive flex AR. The recent Type 19 nerf really cemented the XM4's role for players who want to push. It delivers consistent 4-shot kills up to 28 meters and solid 5-shot kills out to 39 meters. Its mobility stats are where it truly shines for an AR: fast ADS, good sprint speed, and most importantly, a solid strafe speed. The main challenge? That significant vertical recoil. It kicks about 2/3 as hard as a Fennec, making longer range fights tricky if you haven't mastered the recoil. Can you handle the kick for that aggressive potential? Right above it at number 6, we find its counterpart, the Type 19. This fills the role of the more passive or stable flex AR. Now, the recent nerfs hit this gun directly. Sprint speed is down to 5.8 meters per second, which feels a bit slow for a flex AR standard now. And if you use the accurate long barrel for more range, that got nerfed too. So while it's still a great gun, it's definitely lost some of its aggressive edge. What you gain is consistency. The same solid damage ranges as the XM4, incredibly easy recoil control, low flinch, and we usually run a red dot anyway. It's a trade-off. Stability for less speed, which is more valuable post-patch. Breaking into the top 5 at number 5 is the last flex AR on our list, the HVK30. This one is specifically designed for a slower, more methodical playstyle. Think TDM, frontline, S&D, or holding angles in hardpoint or domination. Its absolute strength lies in its incredible damage potential, especially headshots. It's a 4-shot kill up to 29 meters and 5-shot beyond, but crucially, hitting one headshot reduces the shots to kill by 1 at any range. That's huge. Because hitting the head is so important, we run a red dot even though the iron sights are decent. Mobility is fine, nothing special. The major drawback? That tiny 28 round mag. This forces you into that passive playstyle. Try to play too fast and you will die reloading. It's a super overlooked gun, but you need the discipline to use it right. A discipline you might not need with the guns higher up in this list. At number 4, we have a gun that just got a huge boost, the QQ10. That recent BSA buff makes it dramatically more usable and consistent than before. Think of the QQ10 as the HVK of SMGs. You need to hit specific body parts to be truly efficient, and the mag stats are pretty rough. But within its 24-meter effective range, it's now a consistent 4-shot kill thanks to the BSA buff. Mobility is excellent, as expected from an SMG. The other massive buff was to its bullet impact. It's now a baffling 1.3, the same as heavy hitters like the DRH or AK-47. This thing will flinch opponents like crazy. So, why isn't it higher? Simple uncertainty. If the community adopts it, its aggressive potential could dictate the pace of games, making it truly meta. If not, you often find yourself outgunned by SMGs with bigger mags. It's a potential meta shaker, but does it have enough to dethrone the current kings? Cracking the top 3, it's the undisputed king of close range chaos, the Fennec. Nothing complicated here. It shreds with a 5-shot kill up to 15 meters and 6-shot kill out to 23 meters. The only mobility stat that truly matters is its fast sprint speed for closing the gap. Yes, the recoil is rough, the visual shake basically requires a red dot, and the flinch is terrible. But that insane 1111 RPM fire rate, combined with a fast reload and decent mag size, makes it purpose-built for pure, relentless aggression. If you live within 15 meters of your enemy, this is your weapon, if you have the skill to control it. In second place, despite the nerfs, we still have the USS9. Let's be real, the huge BSA nerf on the 41 mag and the massive strafe speed nerf on the no stock attachment definitely hurt. It's not the untouchable monster it was, but let's look at what's left. Still one of the most absurd damage ranges on an SMG. The mobility is still impressive for those ranges. Yes, you're easier to hit now with a slower strafe, and the BSA nerf means long range fights are much less reliable. It might sound like I'm describing a dead weapon, but don't get it twisted. It's still arguably the best overall SMG out there because of its raw time to kill and range potential. It just requires more skill now. The only gun that consistently outperforms it is... Anyway, here's the Gunsmith to use on the USS9 post-nerf. And finally, holding onto the number 1 spot, despite taking some hits, is the Oden. You know the fundamentals: slow firing, easy to control recoil, infinite 3-shot potential, and that devastating 2-shot kill capability with upper body shots. That core identity hasn't changed. What has changed is how you build it. We used to rely heavily on the operator foregrip and the light stock, both got nerfed. Add that to the previous nerfs on the Ranger barrel and Colossus suppressor. The go-to attachments are weaker now. So the big question is What attachments do we use? There are options. You could build for aggression, using a mobility barrel instead of range, ditching the light stock. But that means less range, worse BSA, and more recoil. Or you could double down on accuracy, but that absolutely tanks your mobility. Honestly, I think the best approach for now is to keep a similar build to before, and just cope with the nerfs much like with the USS9. The biggest difference you'll feel is the increased flinch from the light stock nerf, meaning toughness might become mandatory even in ranked where it wasn't always needed before. It's still the king due to its sheer stopping power, but you have to adapt your build and maybe your playstyle to keep it on the throne. So there you have it, the top 10 guns navigating the latest meta shifts.